Hello and welcome back to Travel for Adults. This is our second attempt at making a cruise tips video. I hope you'll find this one enjoyable. As we all know, part of the cruise experience is the time you spend in your room. And if you select the wrong room, it can turn your dream vacation into a nightmare. Today we'll go over some of the areas you may want to avoid when you select your cabin, and we'll also highlight some of the better areas that you may want to select. So I hope that you enjoy this. If you do, please hit like and hit subscribe. And if you have any comments, please feel free to add them. And I hope this is informative. Thank you. The first area of the ship that I would definitely try to avoid is either being right above or below the main theater, as well as near crew cabin areas. Both these areas are busy at night, especially the crew cabin areas who have 24/7 duty. So some of them are coming to bed at 3 and 4 in the morning. So you may hear noise above or below you constantly. And obviously the main theater may have shows up until midnight. So if you're an early riser or early sleeper, you want to avoid this in order to get your full night's rest. So one of the places that I always avoid trying to get a room is right beneath the pool or right beneath the sun decks. These areas can be loud and noisy during the day, and then at night when the maintenance workers are working and putting away chairs and such, they drag them across the pool deck, and this can become very noisy. Obviously, this can interrupt your sleep and make your cruise less than perfect. Restaurants and the buffets can be extremely noisy, especially during prime dinner hours. However, since buffets are open 24/7 on some ships, you may find that they are noisy throughout the night. In addition to the noise of people, there's also the crew members who will be cleaning the tables, bussing the tables, and getting them ready for the next morning. So the buffets, you'll hear lots of dragging of tables, etc. So you may want to avoid these. One set of cabins that we've found can affect any class of cabin. So you could be in the cheapest cabin on the ship or up in the suites, and you may still have this issue. These are inside cabins that have crew corridors behind them. Crew corridors are busy all night because obviously the crew works 24/7, and they're doing a lot of cleaning and moving of equipment and trolleys and stuff at night. We've had nights where we haven't got to sleep until about 4 in the morning because of all the noise that was happening behind us, and it's just the crew doing their jobs. So if you can see these, look at the deck plan as I've shown and as indicated, and try to avoid those cabins. One of the most surprising places you want to avoid is right near the guest laundries. Surprisingly, these laundries are actually used quite frequently, and they're used throughout the night and can be very noisy. Cabins that are joined directly to them or directly across from them are best to be avoided. Another area to check on the deck plan is to try to avoid late night spots such as bars, restaurants, and the nightclubs. As you can imagine, these are busy until the early dawn, and you'll have people coming back and forth. And unfortunately, they're not always sober, so that they can be very noisy as they walk up and down the halls, stomping their feet. So if you can avoid it, avoid being near these areas or above or below, as obviously the music can be quite loud. Another area to avoid is quite often is the gym. If you're above or below this, you may hear weights being dropped loudly at all hours of the day and night. Most of the gyms are open 24/7, and a lot of the crew try to get in their workouts before work or late after work. So it's important that you try to avoid these cabins. Some people choose obstructed view cabins because you can get a balcony suite for a little bit cheaper. If you really want to see the ocean and you want to see good pictures of the ports as you come in, I would avoid these. Quite often they have lifeboats in front of them, or other pillars. And the cruise companies often will have these on the deck plan so that you can see that you would get an obstructive view. Um, for a first time cruiser who wants to stay a little bit cheaper, they may be an option. However, if you're really into seeing the view and the scenery and everything the cruise has to offer, I would go ahead and suggest avoiding these cabins. Although what I've been talking about mostly is ocean cruise liners, a lot of these tips will also apply to your river cruise cabins. A couple other things you may want to be aware of when booking a cabin on a river cruise ship is that the cabins towards the rear of the boat can be extremely noisy, and quite often river cruise boats are tied up next to each other, so you may have several ships either bellowing their noise and or their exhaust fumes your way. So it's important to try to maybe book towards the middle of the ship. So if you're a new cruiser, where do you want to book? Quite often, new cruisers are worried that they may get seasick. So my suggestion would be to book something towards the middle of the boat and towards the middle levels of the boat. Often you'll feel more and more rocking the higher you are in the ship, and that is true also for fore and aft on the ship. Um, the front of the ship may house more of the suites, etc. But if you are worried about being seasick, I would highly suggest trying in the middle of the ship first, see how you get your sea legs, and then maybe on your future cruises, book towards the front or the back if you're wanting more view or more amenities. I hope that you have found this video informative. As you can see, with a little bit of planning, you can avoid some of the bad cabins and sometimes get the best ones out there. One last suggestion I have is never use the guaranteed option for a room. Always book your room by looking at the deck plans or have your travel agent do so. By booking guaranteed, sometimes you may get an upgrade. However, some days you may get the worst of the worst cabins, as those are ones that no one has chosen, and that's what you'll be put in by the cruise line as they fill their empty cabins. You could be right next to a laundry beneath the gym, which would be really a noisy cabin. So I suggest, even though it may save you a few dollars by booking guaranteed, always pick your cabin that you're going to be in and always look at those deck plans. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll hit subscribe and you'll hit like, and I will be posting more of these cruise tip videos as time goes on. So please leave me any comments you have, and have a great day.